love? Has it taken you a while to find your soulmate? It's okay, you know. You're not alone in the loneliness. I mean, I think even when people find each other, there's this eternal loneliness that it's the longing for ourself, really. It's the longing for the eternal love of all, you know. But I'm feeling so sad right now. I feel like couples are so insensitive to single people, you know. Couples don't like to invite single people over. If you're in a group with couples, they like to take pictures of themselves with the other couple, not the other person who's not as cute as the couple energy, you know. It's really lonely the way we leave each other out. And can we just reach to the person who's not that popular, who's not that pretty? I was at this amazing event this weekend, and there was 2 different workshops going on. One was called, I won't say, actually, one was being offered by an unusual woman with a disability who had a big lisp and a funny way of moving. And one was being offered by a really sexy, gorgeous, popular type woman who was really, everybody wanted to be in her workshop, you know. So I went up to that woman. I said, I want to be in your workshop. I want to learn from you, woman. You're amazing. And she said to me with the most loving, compassionate soul, she said, this other woman's workshop, no one's going to go because they see her disability and they don't see how brilliant she is, you know. So I said, well, would it support you more if I went to her workshop than went to yours? And she said, it sure would. She had such a big heart. And so I did. I went to this other workshop. And this woman with a disability was so brilliant. She took me through an entire hour of a healing session for the 2 of us that we did in tandem through dancing and empowering each other through using the tarot cards and completely creating together while healing and transforming each other. I mean, it was truly brilliant, you know, and I was the only one there. In the end, we realized that was perfect because what she's come up with is a healing modality that actually takes anybody. This woman with a disability can take people on a journey through dance, actually, that transforms your life. So I felt so thankful that I went, you know, and I wouldn't have gone except for that I was coached to go. And I think of all the opportunities that we miss, you know, we have people around us that make it hard to see them. And I just want to say, please, 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 allow the people who are strange, difficult, ugly, weird, boring, who call to you with something important, something in their voice, something intense to share. This little kid, he wants you to go fishing. You're like, I don't want to go fishing with that kid, you know. Who knows who it is? If we open to those sacred people, then our world will come together, you know. We'll start to have conversations between the races, because in this workshop they did this really brave work where they said this is truth and reparations time for this whole white community, mainly white community, to really embrace what the people of color had to say. And the people of color said, first thing we want is we just want time with ourselves away from you white people. We just want to be able to bond together as a group, and then we'll come back, you know. And I just lost it, you know, because when they split off, it was like all my friends and all the people I wanted to learn from, and they all went off into a different room, and I felt so alone and so abandoned. but that's how African American and many people of color feel in the world. They feel left out, right? Is it true? You feel left out sometimes and not included and not listened to and not included. Like one family. And it was like the family was getting torn apart. And in this world, we need to come together so badly, And we can. We can come together. We really can. We are in these difficult conversations. So the point is that letting the conversation be difficult, the fact that I had to spend most of the day crying instead of dancing, which is what I was hoping to do, was life transformative, because these people of color in this dance community asked for their just like a whole different level of being heard and responded to. And the first thing that happened was, this is a dance community that's all about deep connection with no music, which is so difficult. You have to fill the whole void of movement all by yourself, because you can't, there's no music. And one of the older women there, African American woman, she's just like, I love you guys, but I am never going to dance with you. I'm going to drive 3 hours to go to some other thing than your thing, but I'm here to support you. I'm not going to dance with you. And the people were like, why? Come on, we want to dance with you too. Why? Why not? Are we too white? What is it? She's like, no, you guys just don't use music. I'm not going to dance without music. And this woman single-handedly changed this whole institution, because those people living there said, okay, if we're going to include her, we need to give her music, and the music she likes. And as soon as they did so, she could get into her body and get the whole healing medicine of this place. And so the next thing you know, they've got music in the big event with the hundreds of people. So this is what happens when the dialogue begins between, and by the way, the dance takes off to this other level where people are just feeling so fed by the music. It's not so much work to have to put all that effort into being so deep and sensitive, and like music carries us. So thanks for being with me today. Thanks for feeling through this with me. And we feel our feelings, like if the willingness to feel those difficult feelings. Use this in relationship, use it in the world, be uncomfortable. I was so disappointed because I had a really deep conversation I wanted to have with my guests, and I wasn't able to say it in a way that would open the door. They were just like, you're so inappropriate. They didn't want me to talk with them. And I'm feeling like, okay, so our relationship has basically stopped here, The moment we betray each other, though, the moment you do something stupid and awkward, that you say something difficult that's real, sometimes it feels like betrayal. Sometimes it just feels like hurt. But there's a saying in Burkina Faso, Africa, that the moment both people have betrayed each other, that's when the relationship begins. So rather than close the door when you feel like it's gotten difficult and awkward, that's when you suddenly realize, oh, I hate what this person did. The way they spoke to me is just not allowed. No way, or they just totally used me and took my time. Like I totally squandered a really good friend of mine's time yesterday. I forgot everything about what I was doing, and I used his time terribly, But the moment these things happen, we can either write each other off and say, you are not my friend, you're not worth it, you don't care about me. Or we could take this and we can go, that's this person's limits. This is not their limits forever, but this is their personality structure, the weaknesses I'm engaged with here. And there's where the fertile energy begins to grow into our better selves, right? Our better selves because of each other. So this whole idea that loneliness is supposed to be cured by just going within, uh, I don't agree with that. I think that in America, the culture is so alone, it's so lonely that it's ill. It's an illness that it causes a toxic grief because we're social creatures. We come from, well, they say we come from the chimps, but there's a whole lot of evidence in the book Sex at Dawn, which I really recommend you read. It talks about all of our correlations with the bonobo monkeys. One of them being the fact that the chimps, who are really, really violent, have these tiny cocks. But humans, compared to chimps, have the cocks of the size more like the bonobo monkeys, which are really big cocks compared to many animals and and chimps, who's tiny cocks, big, huge body. So I got into cocks again. Isn't that great? We're back into our favorite topic. One of them besides pussies. So in that vein of us being very similar to bonobo monkeys are really social. They're really sexual. They're really cuddly. They're constantly in interaction that is making each other feel better. They're kind. They're actually matriarchal. The whole power structure in the bonobo monkey land is through the most powerful woman monkey, who is the eldest. Not the youngest, not the hot chick youngster, but the old chick, the old hen, who's had sex by then with most of them in the tribe. And she's created these deep bonds, right? So what I'm trying to say is, I don't think loneliness is cured by going off and finding that you're just okay on your own because I love myself and now I can prove that I am so conscious because I don't need anybody. It's not true. We need each other. We need each other. We need each other. We need it. We need it. We need each other. We need love. We need connection. So what do you do when you're freaking all alone and you don't have a car and walk? Just walk and meet people. Walk and talk. Get a dog so that you have an excuse to talk to everybody. A cute dog. That really is a great way to meet women and men. But mainly, like, if you can, go to events that you really are meaningful to you. Like if there's a cause you care about, Standing Rock, go to those conventions, and you'll meet people who care about what you care about. If you're a writer, go to start in a writing workshop. You know, if you are able to invite people over, be that person who just says, come stay. I mean, I just did this. I invited people to stay, and you know, sometimes people hate you for it. They don't appreciate it. In the end, they do and they don't. They feel like, oh, you gave too much, and now I owe you something, and what do you want from me anyway? So the open-hearted, I just need connection, like I'm lonely thing, like maybe that's where to start, right? Just be like that, like I just want love. I want to love, and I want love, and I don't want to feel like you have to marry me, or I have to marry, or I'm only allowed to love my family. Like, I love it about this. This is the thing I've been just coming out of my mouth lately. I hang out with somebody, and it's a wonderful woman or elder or a beautiful hot guy who's already with the girl, and some woman is a child, and this word that's come out of my mouth is just, I love you. I love you. How much time do we have left, you know, to love? And you could just love for no reason in particular, you know. And you know what's funny? My boss started this habit. He's this incredible Latin guy who, like, he's just like a winner. Like, he's one of those people, when he does his work, he's like, he becomes a millionaire while everybody else struggles in the same job. For him, it's just like, guys, come on. So he's so warm, though. And he has this habit of, when he really establishes a friendship with his people he works with or who work for him, he just starts saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. Just, I love you. I love you, man. I love you. And many people haven't even said that to their spouse lately or their child lately. Oh. Hello, love. Welcome home to Eden. Okay, so let's get into this, all right? We're talking about dynamics in the car. This is Eve Christoph, your Love Life Muse. Stick with me for the hottest news and subscribe to this channel to get somewhere new. Right now, I have got a number of channels. This is Love Life with Eve, mainly for men, and I have Eve's Eden for women. But you know what? I'm actually posting everything here on Love Life with Eve, and my question to you all is, should I separate the channels or not? Because if they stay connected, then everybody gets to hear about everybody. So, dynamics between the deeply feminine woman and the deeply masculine woman need to be supported, right? Because we have this thing going on where for this time on the planet where the women are taking their power, two extremes happen, where the woman is either really masculine and she emasculates the man, shaming him for his vulnerability and his openness and his sweetness, and becoming very harsh herself in the process, or she's in this super feminine energy which she might love being in, but she gets so far on that end of the spectrum that her voice is it's thwarted at times. So I'm on an adventure with two amazing people. They arrived at my house, and it was a couple years ago, and they were like gods. They're like incredibly beautiful people. They were both musicians, and we're riding along in the car, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so lucky to be with these movie stars, you know. And at a certain point, you know, the guy's a really good driver, but on the other hand, like, I'm having vertigo, which I get at night. I'm night blind, you know, so I'm like, could you slow down? You know, he's holding his own really well with my freak out, you know, and he's got his dignity going. It's like, sure, I can slow a little, like, you just chill, woman. But at a certain point on the journey, the woman says, oh, honey, you know what, the gas gauge is really low. Before we go into the dance and that we're going to, maybe you should get some gas. And he turns to her and he goes, why are you even telling me? He said, the gas gauge is right in front of me. You think you have to mention that? I mean, I got this, babe. I got this. And I'd seen a number of these car things happen where he's basically saying, I got it covered. The car is my domain. I'm the driver, and maybe what he's saying is, I'm always going to keep that gas tank full, baby. Don't you even have to worry about it. That's what he was trying to say to her. Like, it's all okay. I totally got you. Like, but on the other hand, if she can never say anything, if she can't say to him, hey, we're running low on gas, if that's now off the table and it's taboo, she can't have his back. She has his back when she mentions that the gas is getting low, right? So the dynamic was fascinating because as soon as he said that, gas gauge is right in front of me, like, come on. She went, oh, okay, honey, I'm so sorry, all right. Her voice got real soft and sweet and little, right? So this is what we women do. So the thing is, the masculine-feminine dance is so fun for the people who are in that extreme polarity. In other words, if you're a really feminine woman and you're a really masculine man, it's really fun to figure out the things that create polarity, such as the guy having his domain as the driver, right? And his right to rule that domain. Such as her getting to hold his arm and wear heels and saunter, if she loves that feeling of him being the protector on the outside of the road as she walks. You know, these are dynamics that create polarity. They sound really shallow and they sound, you know, and this couple is a dynamic couple. They're powerful couple. It's not like she's a weak, sweetie pie person. It's simply that she absolutely loves her dynamic feminine, right? And he loves his dynamic masculine. And he was not a macho guy in terms of being out of tune with women. Far from it. He's completely, deeply in tune with women. He was, promoting all these different women in music. He was able to accompany them with being totally in tune. But when this moment happened, I remembered that it can swing too far. When the woman is trying to make sure, when a deeply feminine woman wants to make sure that her masculine man is completely supported in being that guy for her, she can go too far and he can go too far. And it's just a little line that happens. And when that happens, the woman trades her power to make him right. She trades her power and her authenticity and her real needs in order to support his masculine gift to her, right? And he, in that moment, he actually loses her on a certain deep, profound level, where then she's helpless because she can express to him in 1,000 ways, but there's this one place she can't go, and that's in the car, for example, other places too, where he's just drawn his line, and she's gone, oh, okay, and she knows that if she says anything more beyond that point, she's across a boundary where he has said, this is my masculine boundary, you can't come in here, you can't come beyond this point, right? But in the car, it's archetypal, right? She's being provided for to be protected, to feel safe, and he's got the rulership of power to take them somewhere, and he's got control over her safety. And so if he doesn't respond, if he's not listening to what the woman needs in the car, and he's feeling like, oh, this woman's being controlling of me, and she doesn't trust me. I'm a good driver. Why is she mentioning to slow down? If he can be non-reactive in that moment and really listen, this is the deepest, most masculine thing he can do for a woman in the car, is to say, tell me, baby, non-reactivity is so sexy, it's so masculine. If he can say at that moment, I do got you covered. I did know about the gas, and actually I was planning to drop you ladies off. I was going to go get gas, and I'll come back, but just want to let you know that, but it's fine, you told me, the receptivity to her need to feel safe, right? So my one relationship I was in got completely destroyed by our adventures in the car, and we were traveling, so we were constantly in this dynamic where I have vertigo in the car, and every time I asked him to slow down or not pass or something, he felt I was emasculating him, and I was challenging his ability to take care of me. And my feeling was, because he wouldn't respond in those moments, and what he did instead is he would just be like, I'm fine, like, just trust me. I'm not going to change how I'm driving. Trust me. You don't have to be so freaked out. He just made it all my problem. I felt profoundly terrified. I felt I had a man who didn't respond to me, didn't care about me. And so then to be sexual with him became an issue, because the archetypal journey in the car had set me into a feeling of powerlessness, that I had to be a good woman, I had to be completely silent. And then if a truck was coming and I shouted, hey, truck, and I actually saved our lives, which of course we end up doing for each other. Passengers, part of it is you do see things that the driver doesn't see at times, and it's great to help each other. But the fact that doing that would cause this huge reaction in him that was like a fight and a insecurity, that his masculinity couldn't handle my need to, even if you're the greatest guy on earth and you love her so much and you have her, like, you aren't considering her in every way, still there's going to be times when you don't give her what she wanted. You gave her what you wanted her to have, or what you knew was best, and the point is that she's free to express that that place of feeling not safe, feeling like things need to be different, or just, you know, there we go. I'm sorry. I'm just like a little too wordy tonight. So point is, mwah, I love you. Okay, love life.